What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nathan, and on this planet we send it. And what we're going to be getting today, well, to be honest, if you can tell by the thumbnail, I am now the proud owner of a Jeep Gladiator Mojave. And I was originally planning the very first video was going to be me just womping through the desert because I got a desert nearby, and I now got the desert rated version, and I'm still jonesing to get out there and put it to the test. However, for this video, we are going to be installing the OEM 115 volt power outlet in the truck bed. So if you're interested in the OEM, not the aftermarket version, so you have all the OEM functions that come with it, then this video is for you. And as a matter of fact, I think I figured out how to do the lowest cost option. In contrast, at least there's the other two ways that I saw out there is using either the Tazer, which is $400, and that actually comes with a lot more capability than what I'm looking at using, so that's why I chose not to go with it. The second option is taking it to a dealer, and at least out here in SoCal, that's at least well over $100 service fee for them to turn it on. But we're going to be using the JScan tool, which I think is the lowest cost option. So we're going to be executing in 3 phases. The first phase, we're going to install the outlet in the bed. Then we're going to move to the cabin, and we're going to install the switch where you can turn on the outlet. And then the last phase, we're going to be turning on the switch in the computer to recognize that when you push the switch, it turns on the outlet in the bed. All right, I got a plan in place. Risks are acceptable. Let's go ahead and send it. Before we get into the video, for those interested in the cost breakdown, at least what it cost me in October 22, here it is. Go ahead and pause if you want to examine it more closely. All right, so here are the parts we're going to be using. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to go ahead and put these into the description so you guys will have them, but I'm breaking it down into 2 groups. Basically, outside, everything supporting the outlet, and then also we're going to be doing inside, everything that I'm going to be doing on the inside to go ahead and put power back here. So for back here, you're going to need a new wiring harness that's going to go just inside the wheel well there. You're going to need the actual outlet itself. And you're going to need 4 sort of, I forget exactly what these things are called, but basically a place for these screws to go ahead and fill in once you take that cap off back there. And then for the inside, I decided to take the plastic out so you can see this better. You're going to need a whole new bezel to go ahead and fit this switch here. That's right here. That switch is going to be there to be able to turn the outlet on from inside the cabin. So with that, and then hopefully if everything goes good, I'm going to only need to use this with the JScan application to go ahead and enable the power to be able to turn on from the inside. Hopefully that's the case because this is the lower cost option. And if we get to the point to where this is not working, we'll go ahead and talk about plan B and maybe plan C. So I just put all the inside things away because I don't think I'm going to be able to get to that. It's in the afternoon of Friday. The sun is going down fast, so what I'm going to focus on trying to do is get the outside stuff in. And as you can see here, I have the spray-in bed liner. So being that I have the spray-in bed liner, I'm going to have to go ahead and, now that it's focused in, need to cut around the edge of this outlet. Now if you don't have the spray-in bed liner, I'm pretty sure it's just a plastic piece that you can pull right out, but for those of you like me, you're going to have to go ahead and etch around the plastic piece and then pull it out. So let's go ahead and send it. So I want to kind of give you a lesson learned to maybe help you that I wish I would have known to help me. So this is being held in there with some clips. So when I actually started opening up this side, it was actually, the bottom seemed like it wasn't connected very well. That's probably just due to the angle of the bed lining. And then when I was able to get this side, it seemed like it was coming out, but it, it was kind of stuck in there. And the reason why is because those clips. So when you get to that point, go ahead and start trying to, gently pull it out and get it past that clip mark. Because then, as you saw me there towards the end, once I was able to flip it up, I just basically cut along the line and it came right out. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next step and install the power outlet. All right, so let me give you an idea of where we're heading to next. We're coming under the passenger side rear quarter. And what I'm trying to highlight is we are going to be replacing this cable harness. So you're going to have to take off all these little things and then disconnect here, here, and then also here. All right, I got one tip and one reminder. We'll do the reminder. Again, remember when you're, dealing with these little white things, in order to get it out, you got to kind of click it back and then, wiggle it out. It'll come right out. Just, be gentle so you don't pull this white clip all the way out. And then the other thing is, on the opposite of being gentle, what I recommend you do is take the wire and harness down there, because when you get to either end, it's good to know which fasteners you can be a little bit more rough with and which ones you need to be more gentle with. All right, next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and install these plastic nuts. Should be real fast and easy. Next, we're going to go ahead and then just dry fit this, and before we screw it in, make sure everything goes in just right. Next, I have these screws here. Again, all the parts will be in the description. All right, we'll try to do this with one hand. So let's see here. This looks like it's going to go like so. And this is going to go like so. Go ahead and push in the red clip. And everything is connected. We are connected down here. We are following the sort of fasteners, keeping everything nice and tight and taut. We got the new power outlet connected to the truck now. And now all we really need to do, everything here is connected. All we really need to do is tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and put in all the stuff on the inside, the bezel and the power switch, and then reconfigure the computer, and we should be good to go. It's that simple. And the next step, what we got to do is we got to go ahead and replace the bezel so we could put the power switch right here, part of the new bezel. And in order to do that, in order to get over here to take this side off, we got to start at the center, basically remove off the pieces so we can remove this top trim part, and then come back down under and over here in order to remove this. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and set up the GoPro and kind of capture it as I go along. But this is just very easy, just tedious. I already kind of took off this piece down here. It's always fun taking off those clips because you're scared you're going to break one, but it's just part of the job. Just take it easy and you should be fine. Underline should be. All right, so the first thing we need to do is take the trim tool and go ahead and pull this forward, this piece right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Got two clips here to disconnect. You got to disconnect this one and then this one. Set this to the side. All right, next we need to just take out these two screws here. And we take that off because it's going to, when you take off the radio bezel, it's going to give you access to the screw just above it. So let's take this off too. Next one we want to remove is this one right here. That's to release the top. All right, so I had to take this off because there's really no easy way to get to that bolt other than removing this thing temporarily. So now that that's out of the way, all right, that one's finally out. That's probably gonna be the biggest pain of this whole project. The audio clip didn't come out well on this, but what I was explaining here is I'm opening up the door, unlatching it here completely, because in order to have access to the screws, the doors was in the way, so I'm opening it up to have better access. Now I think I got them all out, so let's go ahead and see. This should sort of, yep, pop right off. It's a busy day here on the road, but all right, so I can't do this with one hand, so I'm just going to pull that red clip back and then disconnect the controller, and then we'll go ahead and show you what's the next step. So before we get ready to assemble everything and put it back together, we need to transfer this control piece and this vent over to the new place where we're going to be putting the light switch. Correction, the outlet here. You can see this is the switch that's going to turn on the outlet here on the bed. So as far as what I can see, it looks pretty straightforward. You're just going to basically squeeze these things and push them out. So let's go ahead and do that. And then this one, I'm just making sure it does look like it's a squeeze, but I'm just making sure there's no extra things here. All right, this is probably better to be a two-hand squeeze on all four clips at the same time, and then kind of push it through. Okay, now that that's out, let's go ahead and put this in. Just like that. And nope, I didn't even hear the click, it went in so soft. I'm editing this in because originally I didn't hear a snap and I thought it was in, but as soon as I turned it over, I could see that this part wasn't sitting flush. So you definitely want to hear a very small little click, and then when you turn it over, it should sit flush just like this is now. So let's go ahead and put in the new switch. Just final check, make sure it's aligned correct. Yep. Okay, now this piece is ready to go in. And the last thing I want to show you is, so this is the light controller. To connect the power switch, it's actually this one right here, is to connect the power, the outlet switch. So let me go ahead and take this off, I'm trying to do it with one hand. And this is going to be the switch for the power. So let's go ahead and connect those real fast. There's how you plug it in sort of from underneath the power. And then there's the controlling for the headlights and everything. This bezel, this part of the bezel is already installed in the car. And this was the part we didn't take off. So it's best for you just to go ahead and remove this. One of the things that I got to give credit to the new Jeeps is all of these screws. You don't need to worry about which one's going where. They were all the same size. Now the next thing I want to do is, this also should not work, at least from what I've seen it shouldn't. Let's go ahead and, okay. I got power plug there and I got a light there, so let's actually go check something. I wonder if I actually have power there or not. The switch works. Switch works, but I'm not getting the red light showing it's charging, so that shows I still have indications that that's not turning on. So the last step that we're gonna last step we need to do, sort of phase 3. This is a tool we're going to need to set the computer on recognizing that when that switch is turned on, to go ahead and turn the power to the outlet. So that tool is actually going to connect to these two cables, and I couldn't necessarily show you what it was like taking it off, but basically to remove it, you push in the two clips there and you pull them out, and those cables came from the two switches up in there. Hopefully you're able to see that. I'll let the phone focus for a second. Now the cables are connected and you're going to need an ODB2 scanner. I'm actually using the iCar Pro from V-Gate, so what you do is just connect it here at the other side. You can see I got the red light there, so I got power going to it. And the reason why we have to disconnect the cables is because it's connected to a security system that prevents writing to it. So this is helping us bypass that system, enable us to write it so that the computer can ultimately be programmed to recognize the new switch. So if you don't already have the application downloaded, download the OBD JScan tool from either iPhone or Android, whatever your store is, and then go ahead and click open. Once you click open, it's going to bring you to the select a car to diagnose. Go ahead and click on your vehicle. It should be, I'm assuming, the Wrangler JT. And then when you click there, the button you're going to want to select is the Bluetooth ODB low energy if you're using the V-Gate like I am. When you do that, it's going to notify you don't have a license, and you're going to need a license. So go ahead and purchase the license. I went ahead and purchased just one VIN because that's all I needed. Once you purchase the VIN, it's going to go ahead. Do you want to assign it to this VIN, vehicle identification number, and then go ahead and click yes. After you click yes, I had to go all the way out of the application and back in it. So once you come back in the application, you're here at the welcome screen again. So go ahead and click on Wrangler JT. Once you come here, you're going to have all these different menus to go to, but in sort of the center right where it says adaptation, I want you to go ahead and click on that. Under adaptation, go ahead and scroll down to miscellaneous settings. Once you're within the miscellaneous settings, go ahead and scroll all the way down to where you're starting to see inverter module, inverter on off, and inverter status indicator. Go ahead and click on the inverter module. You should already have the inverter module installed if you have the inverter power in the back seat. So you're basically just tapping in on this. So go ahead and when you click on that, you should see target value as active. So once you see that, go ahead and go back. Then when you're back at the previous menu, go ahead and click on the inverter on off switch. You should see that the target value is set to deactivated. Go ahead and click on the down arrow. You'll come to this screen. You'll see active or deactivated. Click on active. Once you click on active, go ahead and click on go. It's then going to go to the process and save everything, and then you should be here. And then go ahead and click OK again. Once you're back at the previous menu again, go ahead and click on the inverter status indicator for the on and off. Go ahead and then when you see here, you'll see deactivated. Go ahead and once you click on the down arrow, you'll see the active option again. Go ahead and select it, active. And then once you select active, go ahead and click go again. And then if everything goes good, you should see great. Changes applied successfully. And then when you're back out of here, what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to go ahead and turn off the vehicle and turn it off and then let it sit for about 60 seconds until the screen goes ahead and completely turns off. It should be about 60 seconds before the welcoming screen goes completely off. Once it's done that, you should be good to go because that means that the system has done a full reset at that point. All right, the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and start the Jeep. Let's go ahead and turn on the switch. Indications on. Let's go ahead and head on around and see if we got power charging. And yes, it worked. This is definitely the better way to do it, at least the least expensive way. So I want to do a couple of tests real fast just to make sure everything is actually up and fully operational, and I'm not going to need the ODB2 port connected, that V-Gate. And as long as all is good, then this is a wrap. All right, Jeep is on. I now have the V-Gate in hand, so that's no longer connected. Let's see if we still have power. And yes. All right, good. This is definitely the way to do it. The least expensive way. Not trying to down like the Tazer or anything. That definitely has a lot of capability, but if you don't want to spend the $400 because all you want to do is just switch this on or even change tire and gear size, I think going the JScan route is definitely the better way to go. So I wanted to show you guys what it looks like in the evening time. Here's the switch from the inside illuminated. I thought it was pretty cool that the outlet itself is illuminated too. All right, that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. And I'll say that all in, this time-wise, as far as doing the work and also setting up for all the video clips, it took me about 3.5 hours to do it all in. To get the outlet in, it was about an hour and a half. And then to do the stuff on the inside of the Jeep and also to do the programming, it was about another 2 hours. And I think if I wasn't doing all the videoing and recording of it, I could probably easily get it down in under 2.5 hours. And there's some of you that could probably get out there and done in under an hour and a half. So, you know, I'll say that I didn't want to go with the aftermarket when I found out how easy it was to install the OEM equipment, which I hope you can see too. The other thing that I hope you can see is I also didn't want to use the Tazer or the dealer again for the cost. So I hope you enjoy the fact that I found a different way, potentially the lowest cost option. And you know what, I got to give Jeep credit, you know, that they're doing a good job on some of their parts. I definitely appreciated the illuminated, you know, outlet there for the evening time. And, you know, it just seems a lot better having the OEM equipment in there versus having the aftermarket, at least from my perspective. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.